been a while since I worked on this, and it's a very special movement. First of all, you should know right away that it's a cuckoo quail clock. Okay, this is the section, the wheel that trips the cuckoo after the hours of it functioning the quail. Okay, like I said, it's been a while. I remember cleaning the movement, and it's nice and shiny, nice and bright. Now I got to put it back together. But second of all, and by the way, this is the lever that comes off this wheel here that trips the cuckoo, and it only cuckoos on the hour. So a lot of the newer cuckoo quail clocks, and I have one, Herbert Her, which is this movement right here, it plays on both the hour and the half hour, and the way it's designed. And I'm pretty sure that this one is only going to cuckoo on the hour. But what is so special about this movement is this word right here. Can you see it? Schmeckenbecher. Schmeckenbecher started making clocks in 1948, and they continued until about 1996. I've already measured the thickness of the plates. The thickness of this plate compared to the thickness of this plate, you see the difference? There's a big difference. This plate, you could take the burge assembly out. There's a screw that goes right here. There's a part. All my parts are in this box. Anyway, there's a part right here that screws to this, which is a plate to hold the verge and crutch assembly. This one, the verge and crutch assembly, doesn't have that. Okay? So the thickness behind this is 2.5 millimeters, and the thickness behind this one, I believe, is turn your scale on, Mark. 1.5. $2.5. Big difference. In my opinion, this is a lot older than that one. Now, there was a discussion earlier this week in my groups. And somebody said, well, you got the exact same movement. One movement is marked with this. One movement doesn't have any markings. Is it that same maker? The answer to that question could be yes, and it could also be no. And the reason why I say that, Regula was the main movement maker for cuckoo clocks, okay? When they started stamping them. When they cast them, I believe, this is just my personal feelings behind it is you go to John Smith, and he is the person in your area that made and casts movements for cuckoo clocks. And then you put your name on the movement however way you want to put your name on it, if you chose to put your name. In this case, I feel that this movement was made by a certain individual, but Schmeckenbecher put their name on it. Schmeckenbecher started in 1946, 1948, something like that. I think this movement might have been made around that time frame. I feel it could have been made a little bit earlier because the plates are thick. And so, anyway, I'm going to put this thing back together. And I'm not going to show you everything about it, but I'm going to show you some things about it. For example, each side has got a count wheel. Each side has got a second wheel. The second wheel on the quail side has got 3 pins. And one pin has got the same distance on both the front and the rear. I believe that this pin is the pin that you the lever hits when it's done doing its thing, when it's done chirping. The second wheel on the quail side doesn't have any pins. There's no pins whatsoever on this. And that's because the third wheel has got the pin that stops it. But the second wheel, I might have messed up. This is the second wheel on the quail side. It's got pins. Second wheel on the cuckoo side, no pins. So anyway, we're going to try to put this together. Putting the parts to the side that I don't need right now, to include the time train and the outside parts. I'm going to point out that the third wheel, warning wheel, one wheel has got 2 pins, one for the inside and one for the outside. The other wheel has only got 1 pin. And I believe that the 1 pin wheel goes to the quail. It has been so long since I worked on this thing, I don't remember, and I can't find my pictures, I can't find my videos of me working on this thing, and that's what sucks. I have to figure all this crap out as I go, or otherwise I'd do it on camera so you could see. But I'm going to discuss how it went as I go. I know why I put this thing to the side now. This is the ratchet wheel for the time great wheel. It don't work. I think I can make it work, but I don't know. We'll see. They make so many different kinds of these ratchet wheels. And this is the Herbert Hur cuckoo quail clock. And you can see here, there's a click. there's a spring that's connected from here on this click. It goes around and is connected to the hole here. But if you look inside, there's actually a ratchet assembly. Hopefully you can see that. There's a bunch of teeth on this to allow it to ratchet with that click. As I turn the wheel, that click catches those teeth. Let me see if I put some light on this situation. Maybe you can see that. It's catching the teeth. But on this one, again, it's been so dang long since I worked on this, I don't remember. It's got the two holes, but there's no ratchet assembly in here. So I don't know. I'm going to have to think about it. Maybe get on timesavers, do some measuring. Maybe I could find another one. Okay, I told you that this wheel is messed up. The ratchet's messed up on it. So I'm on timesavers. And in order to order a new wheel, you need to know a few things. You need to know the length of the arbor, brass wheel diameter, that means this diameter, and how many teeth this has. Well, you could sit here and count this, but it's a lot easier to take a picture of it, put it on your computer, blow the picture up, and count it that way. And here I have the picture on my computer, and I have a mark right here that I scratched on this plate. So now all I have to do is count the teeth, and I'm going to count it a couple times. That way you know for sure. But I'm going to make it bigger. That way it's easier to count. So now I can count it. So I counted them. There are 66 teeth. The width of this, and I'm going to measure it again. The first time I got 35.9, and the length I got was 39.3. So I'm going to have to measure the width again, because this is what I'm looking at. I'm looking at this one right here. The length of arbor is 39.5. I got 39.3. The width of arbor, of this wheel, is 35.9. And here it shows 35. And so I'm pretty sure that 35 will work. And it's only $4.50. That is what I need, because that is for the hour pipe and the minute pipe. And it shows regular $8 to $10 each. And this shows that there's a ratchet wheel there. It shows that the ratchet and the wire, and this is missing the ratchet wheel. It's been too long since I messed with this thing. I don't know, but for $4.50, I will buy it and see if it works. my very first antique cuckoo clock that I ever bought, actually my very first cuckoo clock that I ever bought, here I got 35.2, 35.3, so 35 will work. Measuring the length again, 39.2, 39.5, that will work. That's the one I need. And so, but anyway, the very first cuckoo clock I ever bought had the same type of system on it. It had a spring on it, and the spring was for the ratchet wheel, and it broke. I couldn't fix it. So I got on here, timesavers, and there were some that it said that they didn't know what they were for. They changed this, and it just so happens that I ordered it and it fit perfect. So timesavers has most things, and I used to use Esleros, and when Esleros went out of business, I started using timesavers. And for $4.50, I'll go ahead and order that one. And this is the way I use timesavers. Click here for full catalog download, and that brings me to what we were just looking at. And that way I can click on the search button and hit cuckoo and just look at everything that has to do with cuckoo. And once I get the number, the part number, you go back to the catalog and you type it in right here and hit enter, and there it is. And you want to verify all the stuff that you just got through verifying, and you hit add to your cart. And I'm going to continue shopping because timesavers, what I don't like about timesavers, it has a minimum, if you buy one thing, they're going to charge you a minimum handling fee. And it's like $8 or something like that, plus shipping. So I will order more things. I have things that I need to order. One of the things that I will order is I gotta get back to it, sorry. It's these things right here. Remember, I have a video for 50 cents each, U loop and B wire. You need to have at least a few of these each in your stockpile, because your clock can be in beat and still not run, and it's because the U loop and the B loop, the U loop and the V loop are bent, and they got flat spots on them. So order those whenever you order items. These Herbert Hur nuts, if you deal with a lot of cuckoo clocks, Herbert Hur parts are going away. So order these things. And they fit the 1 days and they fit the 8-day movements, $9.50 a pack. I went to the online order 18301, hit search, can't find it. So I'm going to try typing in Herbert Hur and see what happens. There's going to be chains, but that's all they have, chains. No birch and crutch assemblies, no nuts. And so their online catalog and their online order form is messed up. Now these wire assortments is for bellow lift wires, hinge wires. They've got the eyelets, but they're $8 each and only comes with 32 pieces. If you were to order one of these items each, it will come with more pieces. And cuckoo bellow wires, 8 inches long. Order those because for the antique clocks, they take a longer bellow wire than what comes in this assortment here. And I'll show it to you. Bellow wires, 60 millimeter bellow wires. That's 60 millimeters. If I swap it over to inches, it showed 2.36 inches. So, big difference. 8 inches long or 60 millimeters long. Order these. It's a lot, and that way you can make your own. I last time I made my own, I ordered piano wire off of eBay. Piano wire is a little bit too strong, in my personal opinion, for making the bellow lift wires. So these are 75 cents each, and they are 8 inches long. And you can make a few of them, or a couple of them. They do have 4 that are 115 millimeters long, which is like 6 inches. I take that back. 4 at 115 millimeters lift wires, and they are 4.55 inches, and they're $1.50 a pack. It's better to order these down here, which are 8 inches long. But it's cheaper to order this stuff than to order the assortment, is what I'm getting at. And most of this stuff you can make with wire, paper clips. You just have to be a little bit smarter than the item that you're working with. But if you don't want to make it, you can order it. The tieback material, I personally do not order my material from Timesavers. Even though it's 12 inches by 12 inches long, it comes folded, and I don't want it folded. It puts a crease in the material, and so I order my stuff from eBay. It costs like $25 for 20 sheets, which does 40 bellows. You can order leather material from Timesavers, $17.50 each if you choose to put leather on your material. And I like looking through Timesavers clearance items, and that way if there's something that I, like I said, they have minimum handling fees, but I need a couple of pendulums for my Dutch clocks. And I don't want this typical pendulum for the horse. Some of my Dutch clocks don't take that. The only clock that takes that is the Zandam clock. And so I have a different Dutch clocks, and they supposed to take like a starburst. And so if you zoom up here, scroll up here, here's a starburst French pendulum bob closeout for $3, and for $3, I'm gonna try it. That's just the bob, so I still need the wire that it connects to. It's not here after I typed it in. Okay, but a lot of times the closeout stuff, you're not gonna find it by searching. So what you have to do is you have to go to clock repair and replacement parts, and find clearance items. You click on the clearance items, and then you have to go through every one of these clearance items. See, there's a music box, a Rouge music box, $45. And if you search on the catalog, again, I don't know why the catalog's not updated. It shows it's $41. And so I'm going to go through this. I hope y'all are liking this video. Going through the clearance items, I see this platform escapement with 8-leaf pinion. Typically $135. Remember the French carriage clock I told you that the platform escapement is broken on? Do I want to spend $45 on a clock that I paid $45 for that's only worth about $120, $150 in working order? That is the question. But I don't know whether or not this one will actually work or not. I'm going to have to measure mine again. Been a while since I worked on this. This is the platform escapement. As you can see, the escapement wheel turns around. However, there's some issues with it. Good thing it measures 25 inches wide by 33, sorry, not inches, millimeters. And this one is 20 millimeters wide, so it's not going to work. So I don't have to buy it. And while I'm here, I might as well order some bushings. If you watch my other videos, modern day movements, they're 1 millimeter thick. Antique movements are 1.5 to 3.5 and up millimeters thick. My 1908 George cuckoo quail clock is 3.5 millimeters thick. The Herbert cuckoo quail from 1950s, it's 1.5 millimeters thick. There's one guy that he buys one standard bushing, which is a tall bushing, and he grinds it all down. That way he just, I guess it's easier for him to buy the one bushing. I'm going to try to stick to buying a couple of different bushings. But we also know that the bore diameter, the pivot diameter on most modern day clocks are about 0.8 millimeters in diameter. So this one right here, this L01, which is 1.2 overall diameter size, it's 1 millimeter thick. but the bore diameter is 0.2 millimeters. You would, after you put this bushing in with that bore diameter being so thin, you would make this bushing loose, trying to broach it out to make the diameter big. I know that KWM 42, and we're going to go find it, is more likely what we need. So stand by, let me find it. I can't read my writing. It's KWM L12. Let me find that. And here is KWM L12. It's 1.8 millimeters outside diameter, 1.4 millimeters in height, which is a little bit too tall, but it's 0.8 millimeters in bore diameter. And so I could either get that or try to find one that's smaller in diameter. In height. I'm liking the L62 better. It's 1.8 millimeters overall diameter, 1 millimeters in height, and 1 millimeter in bore. The distance between 0.8 and 1, you're not going to be able to see it, and most of the time I have to I broach these out, even though they're 0.8, and the pivot on modern day wheels standby. Now I'm talking 1 day clocks here, but modern day 1 day cuckoo clock pivots. I need to put this thing back on, and always zero it, and I put it back on millimeters. One millimeters in diameter for the pivots. Now I'm sure 8-day cuckoo clocks are going to be pretty dang close. Now this is just my personal opinion, and you do what you want, but this is a Herber movement, and it is 1.4 millimeters in 1.3, 1.5, depends on how hard I press this thing. Millimeters thick. These bushings right here, which are 1 millimeters in length, would work on this Herber movement. You always want, and if you look, you have an oil sink, and the oil sink is deeper in, so you always want the inside plate flush, but the outside plate where the oil sink is, it could be in some for the oil sink. And after you figure out which bushing you want, primarily you want to order some that are bigger diameter, because crap happens. You're gonna screw up, and you're going to need to put a bigger diameter bushing in because you went too fast. Like in my case, I used to drill. I went too fast, and the reamer or the cutting broach, whatever you're using, made the hole too big. And so now your bushing that you selected fits through the hole, and you can't force it in, it just drops right in the hole. So you're going to want to order some bigger diameter bushings to just in case. There's a few things I don't like about Timesavers webpage. is after I order something and I hit that back button, it should take me directly back to the exact spot that I was at, but it doesn't. So you have to scroll through all this crap again to find what you were on, and then sometimes you scroll through it twice, it's not there. So you got to start from the very previous page or the page after that clearance rack that I was telling you about. There's 16 pages. And if I order something, and let's say I'm on page 13, I order something, I go back, I'm on page 13 and it's not there. I go to page 12, it's not there. I go to page 14 and 15 and 16, it's not there. I have to start all over again to find where I was at. Like if I, because I don't want to miss anything. And I'm going to give you an example. I just got through ordering L66. I was on page 3. Now we're going to scroll down here. L66 is no longer on page 3. But I'm going to show you, I just got through ordering L66. L66. I was on page 3. I'm going to go back to page 3. It's still not there. And that's a fine example of what I was talking about. With the other guy I told you who uses the same size bushing for everything, like in this case, it's $11 for 20 pack. So it doesn't matter. It costs him the same. It's just that he has to work more to grind all that stuff down. Price-wise, it's the same. Time-wise, you weigh your options. I got this little box here from Walmart, and these are really small bushings. They would be good for music boxes, but the antique Schmeckenbecher clock here, the pivots are the same, 1 millimeter in diameter. I know on the George Cool clock, the pivot's going to be bigger. This is 2.5. I found something close. It's not exactly that. I'll have to grind some down. The George Cool clock, I still have to find something that is 3.5 millimeters in height, or thereabouts. This video is going to be 2 or 3 parts already because of all the information I'm discussing. But this is a KWM chart right here. And over here, if you look at the top, height is right here. So if I go down these 2 lines right here, it's going to give me the height. And so 3 and 4 is my height that I'm looking for. And it's going to be these right here, L128 through L137. So now I need to go find them. I didn't find them, but I'm searching 20 packs. They're bigger bushings, so I'm going to have to search 10 packs. Now here they are, but before I order any of these, I need to figure out what the pivot diameter is on one of my wheels. And you look at these outside diameters, 8.7 millimeters. Let's turn this on and let me show you what 8.7 millimeter diameter is. You see how big that is? That's way too big for my George Cool cuckoo quail clock. But the plates are 3.5 millimeters thick. So I think I'm going to skip ordering those bushings. That clock is working fine. I was just wanting, only order maybe once a year. So I was just trying to predict the future, I guess you could say that. But now I'm going to see about, they have these 100 packs for 45, 56 bucks, something like that. And I know which bushings I need. So I might just order 100 pack. It comes 10 pieces of 10 bushings. So the 20 packs, $11 a piece. Okay, and so you have 10 bushings here at $11 a piece. That's $110, but that's a 20 pack. Okay. How do I explain it? Yeah, I think I explained it right. Sorry, it's 3 o'clock in the morning. I've been up forever. I can't sleep, so I'm just doing this. So if you order these boxes, you might run into a case. Remember, I told you that if you don't do it just right, that you might have to get a bigger one. Well, that's what these do. They'll give you bigger sizes. And so I'm going to look for L61 and L66 and go from there. Going back to this chart, I'm going to show you how to read this chart. L61, that's one of the bushings I told you that we're going to order. L61, you follow that up, the bore diameter is 1. The outside diameter is 1.8. The height, the height is 1. The bore diameter is 0.9. Here's your bore diameter right here. The height is 1. The outside diameter is 1.68. And so, and then it shows here that your pivot diameter would be 75 to 0.80. and that if your pivot diameter is 1, then you need an L66, and that is also on my list. L66, it shows that the height is 1.4, the outside diameter is 1.8, and the pivot diameter is, the bore itself is 1.1. Sorry. Again, it's late. This box, which contains L66, that was on our list, I'm not seeing L61. It should be that box or this box, but I'm not seeing it. And so I'm going to compare what's all in this box to that chart. So L27. And you scroll down until you find L27. And I probably missed it. I'm sure I missed it. I'm not seeing it. So I'm going to find another one. Again, it's late. I apologize if I'm screwing up. L65 was on the list. L65, we have it right here. The bore diameter, that's the hole inside, is 1. It's for pivot diameter 0.85 to 0.90. L65, the height is 1.4, and the outside diameter is 1.8. And here it tells you which reamer to use. 2. Next is L67. If I get my computer to work. Here's L67. The bore diameter is 1.7. That's the metal hole of the bushing. Is for pivot diameters 1.5 to 1.6. And it is 1.4 millimeters height, 2.7 millimeters outside diameter. And it has L69, and this all is going to be under this column right here. And it's all going to take a reamer number 4. So L69, the center diameter is 2.1. L70, center diameter is 2.3. L71, center diameter 2.5. And L72 is 2.7. So I'm going to order that package. However, I'm also going to order a 20-pack of L61. I'm going to go ahead and increase my quantity on this one to 2. update quantity, and then I order these O-rings. L62 I don't want, so I'm going to delete item. L61 I'm going to keep. L97 L97 is 1.8 millimeters by 2.7 millimeters in height by 0.8 millimeters in diameter. I got that for thicker plates, so I'm going to keep that one. L66 I don't need because I could use L20 and grind them down if I have to. And so my total cost is $144, and that's with me ordering a music box. It's going to cost me around $160, something like that, to include shipping. $170, something like that. That's just the stuff I need. And like I said, I don't order that often. And so start the new year out right. There's an old saying, whatever you're doing on New Year's Day and New Year's Eve, you'll be doing for the rest of the year. So I'm not going to, I want to work on clocks on New Year's Day and New Year's Eve. And I'm going to order these now. That way I'm not doing it on New Year's Day and New Year's Eve, or I'll be doing this for the rest of the year. I think I'm going to delete the music box. I already have 2 brand new ones sitting over there. So that drops my price down to $100. Proceed to checkout. And y'all don't need to see that. So I ordered 2 of these wheels, 6 each of the wires, B, 6 each of the U's, a package of these one-day hooks and rings because they were cheap, $3. These bushings, and these bushings, $100. I told them to ship by the cheapest, and no, I don't want them to call me for approval first, and no, I don't want them to notify me of out of stock items, and no, I don't want them approve shipping charges for back order items. So they either have it or they don't.